Yo, yo, it's the power hour where the bruisers eat. No finesse, no flukes, just backs that punish. Fantasy gold in the mud, let's eat. Yo, welcome to the power hour.
Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Football Power Hour. With me always, Muscles Ryan Mail. What's going on, Mus?
Not a whole lot. What's happening tonight?
Enjoying some Thursday night football, and we already got to talk a little bit about our post-week 4 review. So if you guys missed that, go back, check it out. And it's something we wanted to keep doing, this power up buys and sells, each week, where we're going to give you a player we feel good about for buying or selling for a third-round pick or equivalent to a second round and a first-round pick. So just kind of something that maybe your team needs rebooted, right? Or maybe we feel like these guys have reached their max value, right? Where you want to cash out, or you feel like somebody has some more value that you can maybe change a little bit of your team up, but even if it's not for this year, for next year and the incoming future. So it's kind of what this show is going to be more geared towards. So with that, Muscles, let's go ahead. Let's start off with sells. I mean, we sometimes are like, you hate to sell this player because you don't want to miss out, but sometimes you got to do it, man, and try to get that value where the value is good. And you got to have people that people want as well. Like, we don't want to just sell guys that are just on the last leg of their career. Like, if you bought into Matt Stafford, he's just worth more on your roster than he is selling, right? In the Superflex League, Muscles.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you can't.
Hopefully, Matt Stafford's not on your list, but
no.
But that's just kind of the thing with guys like that. Like, okay, yeah, he's an easy sell, right? But at the same time, what he's been doing, like I took a gamble on him in a couple leagues, and right now it's paying off. We'll see what it does week 13. We definitely have our, skepticism, but hey, man, if it gets you there and figure it out from the rest of the way, see what happens. So with that, Muscles, let's go ahead and get into sells. And who's your first sell on here? So it'll be a third round pick or equivalent to.
Well, this is a guy that is on his last leg of his career. It's not Matt Stafford, though, but it's a guy that I actually bought a couple weeks ago because I was running back needy on a team, and I thought, like, I had a decent chance of winning. And at the time, I didn't see Woody Marks coming in and, kind of having the explosiveness that, he had right off the bat. But my first sell is going to be Nick Chubb. I mean, I bought him for a third. I didn't think it was terrible. I was like, you know what? Like, I'm competing. It's going to be late third. But, like, with Woody Marks coming up, I mean, you got to – I think Chubb will still get between the tackles most of the work. But, Woody Marks is going to be that pass-catching, explosive. I think he will probably outscore him most weeks. So, yeah, I think if you're in a league and you could sell Nick Chubb on the name value, and listen, we both love Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I just think, like, this is probably the back nine of his career.
Yeah, it definitely is. I was a little bit skeptic, of him even coming in, but you kind of look at it, he is still getting some goal line work. Like, I know Woody Marks scored. He's getting the pass catching work. And that's why, for me, Woody Marks was an easy buy, because we could see he's a more explosive back. But volume alone, Nick Chubb's still going to get points. He just needs to get in the end zone.
Yeah.
So, that holds its value with these bye weeks and injuries. We just seen Trey Benson go to the IR, right? Like, these guys are dropping like flies. So, if you're a contender, a third round pick, somebody might take that gamble. So yeah. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all, because I do feel like this is, and like you said, people love Nick Chubb. We love Nick Chubb, but you kind of have to take that love of a player away, right? Like, you kind of have to disengage yourself and say, hey, you're in it to make money and have fun, right? So
yeah,
I'm having fun when I'm making money. So, like, I feel like Nick Chubb on my roster just no bueno for A-Train over here.
Yeah, and I mean, if you need him, I mean, like you said, I mean, he is a bye week filler. He is, if he does get in the end zone, he probably could be a running back too.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, if you're not a true blue contender, I mean, like you said, there's teams out there that are running back needy. With Trey Benson and James Conner and all these guys going down. So somebody surely is going to take him off your hands for a third.
Yeah, I think so too. And it is time to get out. And I think for me, it's like going back and saying that with like Matt Stafford, quarterbacks are just a little bit more valuable because of the super flex whole thing. Because that's the thing. If you're getting a third for Nick Chubb and say you can only get a second for Matt Stafford, look at the point differential.
Yeah, yeah. I'd just rather hold Matt Stafford. I'm with you. Like, you're not getting a first for Matt Stafford, and I'm not selling him for a second. So
I'm not either. I'm not either because he's just worth more. So
Mhm.
yeah, just trying to kind of clarify what I was saying there. But yeah, I agree with you there, Muscles. I mean, unfortunately, probably had a little bit. People are on the Woody Marks train, so maybe it'll be a little bit tougher. But I think a lot of people that need that, the Trey Bensons and stuff like that. I'm hurting for running backs on a couple rosters, and
Mhm.
it gets gritty. So I would try to take advantage of it as well.
Yeah.
So for me, my first sell on here for a third might be a little bit surprising, but I'm selling Hollywood Brown. Muscles. He scored again this week. Uh, Worthy looks back and healthy, so we've seen Xavier Worthy on the field quite a bit. We got to remember Rashee Rice is back week 7, so the window's closing here really fast for Hollywood Brown here being a Kansas City Chief. So I just feel that Hollywood Brown's more of a roster flogger. When Rice is back, and Xavier Worthy is back, and they're firing on all cylinders, at least in the receiving game, I really think he's going to go back to just a no value guy and borderline droppable. So they also drafted Jalen Royals, who we really like. I know he's been really disappointing this year, but Jalen Royals, I think, will have that role in the future of, if a guy goes down, he'll be the guy. Andy Reid's notorious for rookies. Like, he's just not playing them. Like, remember with
Right.
Rashee Rice, we did the same thing where we're like, hey, just get him on the field more, get him on the field, but they didn't. It was just a very, very slow process, and that's just kind of what Andy Reid does. So if you have Jalen Royals, be patient, sell your Hollywood Brown shares, and as much as I shit on Kelsey, he's probably earning 5 to 6 targets a week, even if they're not pretty. And they use Juju, they kind of spread the ball around. Last year we seen Noah Gray be used at times, and I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing that thrown in there some. And I think they're probably a team uh, here that if they make a push and something were to happen to Worthy, I think they would maybe even try to upgrade, at a receiver
Yeah.
that's available.
Yep. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And one thing you didn't bring up is his injury.
Yeah.
Injury.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, this guy's always injured. So I
Yeah.
mean, the
Good
fact
point.
that he's made it this long without even a hangnail injury, missing half a game or something like that is kind of. I'm not saying hangnail, just he does. He just has
He
a
does.
extensive injury history. So yeah, and like you said, with the fact of Rice coming back, Worthy coming back, he's gonna be, I mean, third behind them, and then not even probably the third option. It'll probably be what, fifth option.
Yeah. And
So
Tyquan Thornton's looked pretty good
yeah,
in a short
Thornton's
amount
look
of
good.
time.
It Juju's coming on, like it.
Yeah.
I mean,
It,
not as
it,
much as he.
and hats off to Kansas City, man. Like, I was thinking about this yesterday. They piss us off because they're always good. They should have. They had no business winning that game against Baltimore. I mean, they had so many injuries, and they could have just laid down and said, "Hey, we're hurt," but they
Yeah,
did. I mean, they fought, they won. Hats off to them. That's why they're so damn good, because they always overcome injuries, overcome just anything that the controversy that's in the way, man. Like,
yeah, they
it
do.
does get old. As an NFL fan, I can't stand the Chiefs because they are like that, but that's hats off to them. That's what they do.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, we'll see if anything happens this year. Every year we mock a running back going to them in the trade deadline, or mock a receiver,
Right,
trade
right.
deadline. Oh, they're gonna get this guy, they're gonna get that guy, and it never happens. But
No, but
maybe
even the
this is
weapons they have, they still utilize them. Like you said,
they
Juju,
do.
Tyquan
Yep.
Thornton. So I
Yeah.
just think we've probably seen the ceiling from Hollywood Brown. Yeah, he might catch a touchdown here or there, but you got to worry about injuries. You got to worry about a rookie that we really like, that we felt they got good value on. We got to worry about Rashee Rice. Xavier Worthy stepped up. So
Yep.
Yeah, man. Let's go ahead. Let's get into your second round pick, sell.
So this is a guy that I've actually sold in 3 leagues so far. Both of them I got, or 2 of them I got a second and a third. In the third league, it was a little bit of more of a package deal. But it's Sam Darnold. I mean, he just, I mean, the Seahawks are 3-1, so he is winning games. So his job, it might be safe for now. But man, he just doesn't look like the same Sam Darnold as last year. What was it, quarterback 21? So, I mean, for me, it's like if you can get a second, unless you're a true blue contender and you need him as a quarterback 3, then like I said, I mean, you can keep him there. But I just think if you're not a contender, what's next year bring? You know,
Right.
I mean, do we see Milroe at some time? Like I said, they are 3-1, so this is going to be. I don't know how short of a leash they'll have on Darnold if he's winning them football games, but this defense is what's winning them games so far. But
Right.
But I mean, they could take a playbook out of the Ravens and say, hey, we want a rushing quarterback and a good defense, and
Yeah.
go with Milroe. But it's just I think I'm just going to get out while I can and try to hit these teams that have Burrow. That have Jaden Daniels that's been banged up, that have Lamar Jackson. Hey, just get I got second and third in 2 leagues, and then part of a bigger deal in another. So I think I'm just out.
Even another move that I wouldn't mind with Darnold. What if you give up Darnold in your second to try to get a first? That might work.
Yeah, and that's
another route you could go if you didn't want to do the second and third. But I don't mind a second and third. I think they're trying to carbon copy what they had back in Baltimore. I mean, Jalen Milroe is kind of the same prospect Lamar was. A lot of people don't remember Lamar Jackson when he was drafted out of Louisville. Wasn't a good passer at all. And struggled a little bit in the NFL, but they really built around him, and he's taken tremendous steps to become the passer of what he is. But something you kind of have to remember and make easy short throws. Don't make him, which Lamar can make the deep ones now too. He's taken big strides. But hey, man, I think they drafted Milroe for the future. And and I think Sam Darnold, he has no rushing upside for fantasy. I think he's a Jackson Smith and Jigba injury away from being a complete panic sell.
Yeah, and it's always like you want to sell at peak value, and I'm not.
Yeah.
But
where's it going to go up?
Well, yeah, is it going to ever be worth 2 seconds? Maybe, but he's never going to be worth a first. You're never going to get a first for Sam Darnold.
You struggled to get a first from Sam Darnold, what he did in Minnesota.
Yeah.
I did at least. I tried to sell. I couldn't get a first.
I couldn't either.
And he was quarterback 9 on the year last year. I mean,
yeah.
I'll say this: I think Sam Darnold's played better than what I've thought, but it's still not what it was. And I just think we know what he is.
Yeah, and he's one prime time blow up game away from being, hold no value again.
Isn't that wild that he played good all year, then struggled. What was it against Detroit on prime time?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say the Bears, but I guess it was I know it was the divisional game.
Yeah, and nobody wanted him. He sucked. Yep. This is exactly what I thought.
He was a bust and da. So yeah, I just want to get out now. If I can get a second or third in leagues that I'm not competing, then I have them.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's never gonna go up.
Yep, I'm with you. I think he has definitely peaked out on value. So my second round sell here, it's going to be Tony Pollard. And this breaks my heart because I've always been a Tony Pollard guy, Muscles, but he is getting all the volume here in Tennessee. Here's his snap share so far: 89%, 89%, 91%, 86%. They were crazy snap shares for a running back in this era. You want to know what he was? He's running back 34 week 1, running back 33 week 2, running back 16 week 3, and running back 32 week 4. So he's getting the snap share, but he is doing absolutely nothing with it. only 3.8 yards per carry, only 1 touchdown, and only 6 catches. That's very alarming. And Tajay Spears could be back this week, and I think Tajay Spears is that explosive back that, maybe that's what Tennessee's missing. It just kind of looks like Tony Pollard just don't have that explosiveness anymore. So, I mean, maybe that's how you could sell Tony Pollard. Say, hey, look at the snapshot. He's a bell cow guy. He's going to break through at some point. But I don't know, man. He doesn't look real good. And with that kind of snap share and doing nothing, I think the Tennessee Titans are going to look for a difference here and maybe run Tajay Spears a little bit and see what they got there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was a big Pollard guy this year. I got a lot of them in fast draft, and yeah, it's just not it. They built the line around them.
Line looks bad. The defense looks bad. Tennessee, look, Cam Ward looks bad. It's a bad year for the Tennessee Titans, man.
Yes, it is. And I don't know why.
I don't either. I think it all starts with coaching. I think Callahan just is not the answer, and I think he's probably, bold prediction here, I think he's the first coach to probably lose his job.
It probably should be, honestly.
The only saving grace, maybe they'll say, well, let's give him a chance because Cam Ward's a rookie. Maybe, but you can just kind of tell the guy I just don't think he's a good coach.
Yeah, I expected a lot more out of Cam Ward, and yeah, he's been hard to watch so far.
Yeah, it's been a little bit ugly there. They definitely got some work to do, but I just think Tony Pollard here. I'm out, man.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead. Let's go to your first round, Muscles. Who are you selling for a first?
So I'm going to take the lazy way out here, and I'm going to go ahead and go with my last week's one. Again, Jordan Addison. He had that one big play.
Yep.
You take out that 80 yards, and he had 4 catches for 40 yards.
Yep.
I just think that, last week's game, if people are box score looking and everything like that, they're going to be like, oh, wow, he scored 16 points, 4 targets, 4 catches, 116 yards, and da-da-da-da-da. Man, I just want to re-roll. Like, I'm using that as bait and just re-roll for first. You never know who you can get in the first round receiver-wise. Can you get
right?
Like last year, look at last year's draft class. I mean, Ladd McConkey was in the late first. Brian Thomas Jr. is a late first.
Yeah.
So I'm just re-rolling and trying to get something like that.
I think Jordan Addison's a good player. What's his ceiling?
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like you said, you want to re-roll. I think that's fine and try to hit for more upside. Like, okay, even if you do miss with the first round pick, does it really hurt you that bad? I just feel like Jordan Addison is very replaceable.
Yeah.
When it comes to fantasy wise, not for the Minnesota Vikings. He's a good receiver. Just for fantasy wise, he's wide receiver 2/3.
Right.
You can get a lot of them.
Yep.
Opinion.
I agree.
Yeah.
Take the lazy way out and just say, hey, like I said, I said this last week, and he did exactly what I thought he was going to do, and have that one big play that propels them.
Right.
So.
Yep, that's what it was too. But for my first, and who's going to be my sell here, and I'm getting a lot of these off Dynasty Daddy. It's a really cool site, so go over there, check that out. We're not sponsored by him or anything.
Yeah, but I do follow him on Twitter. He does have a lot of good tweets.
Yeah, they have a lot of good stuff, and just kind of see what the community is as a whole. Like, you can kind of use KTC to a point, but I think Dynasty Daddy, I really like that trade database, and these are happening in the leagues and not where we see one, where we're seeing multiple times, or maybe you've seen it in your own league. I've seen some of these in my own league. So for me, for this first, it's going to be Quentin Johnston. So it's kind of hard to believe we're back here at a first, but
yeah,
and he's looked good. I mean, we've seen the ups and downs from this guy, but I personally still believe Ladd is the guy. I know Keenan Allen's cutting into this as well. And I think Hampton's going to get more. We're already kind of seeing Amari and Hampton take this step in being a very, very good running back. So, I think in the future, I still believe in Ladd over him and Hampton over him. So he's probably the third guy in that pecking order. But hey, he's still done good. But some of these trades that I'm seeing, man, I feel like it's at an all-time high for Quentin Johnston. I've seen him sold for A.J. Brown straight up. That's wild to me. I've seen him for a first in multiple leagues. I've seen, like, I think it was him in a second for a first. Like, I'd still do that to get a first. So I'm selling QJ here, man.
Yeah, and I mean, this goes back to the whole Addison thing. I mean, look at your first round receiver talents like Emeka Ibuka.
Yeah. He's a late first, by the way.
He was a late first. Now, I mean, there are some busts. Don't get me wrong, but like the last couple of years we have been spoiled, and I haven't done a lot of digging into this year's class. Don't sit here and come at me, but I just think with the talent the past couple of years, I'm re-rolling with guys like this. If you're not a true blue contender and you have Quentin Johnston, I'm selling for a first all day. I mean, I do like his frame.
Yeah.
And I just not a big believer that something just clicked one day and just now he's now he's a top 12 receiver in the league. I'm just not buying it.
But he did this last year, I believe, too, where he was getting a touchdown a game. You remember that stretch?
I do now that you say that.
And everybody wanted Quentin Johnston. Like, it was kind of the same thing, and then it completely died out again. Ladd kind of took over. I believe he got hurt, too.
Yeah.
I know Herbert was banged up as well, but, hey, he's having a decent career. A lot of people were really out on him. We weren't big on him, as a prospect. We've seen some red flags, and kind of took him a while. Hopefully he does get himself together and becomes a good NFL receiver, and already is so far, but I just think it's maxed. Are you ever going to look at Quentin Johnston and be like, he's A.J. Brown? He's not near that prospect, man. Like, we know the prospect profile. Like, there's just no way.
I could be wrong, but did Quentin Johnston have an extensive injury history in college? I feel like he
cannot remember. I think he might have been banged up a little. I don't think it was anything like where we were freaked out about.
All right.
But that's going to do it for ourselves. I think these are guys that we can really take advantage of. And again, you got to be good players that, are going to put up production to kind of, where people want these guys. So before we get into our buys, I do want to talk about who sponsors the show, and that's Fast Draft. So go to the Fast Draft app, use the promo code POWER, and they will match you up to a first-time deposit up to $50. It's a fun place to be, man. I've been on a lot of these Flex 6 frenzies, so you can go over there, draft your team. I would advise you get in there earlier. You get better ADP. But the risk is, I drafted Trey Benson in one, didn't realize that he was going to go to IR. I was like, they're saying he might be out. Well, lost value there, but also gained value on a couple guys. David Montgomery, Rashad White is getting them at the end of the last rounds, and they're starting to slowly creep up now. People are realizing, hey, Montgomery has a good matchup. Hey, Bucky Irving's the guy. Bucky Irving's going to be out. Rashad White's going to be the guy this week. So go over there, take advantage of that ADP early in the week, and check out the Fast Draft app. Like I said, you can put in $10. I'll match you $10, and see if you like it. But they'll do up to $50. So check that out. Use the promo code POWER. Muscles, let's go ahead. I'll give you my buy first. We'll kind of switch around here, and we'll start with that. But my first buy here for a third, we're gonna stick back with Kansas City on the buy list now, and it's Rashard Smith. So still not a big snap share. It has gone up every week. He didn't get involved. He did get involved in the receiving game. He went 3 for 27 this week. So it does seem like it's a bit of a three-way rotation, and he's kind of the odd man out at the moment. But I think he has the juice to beat out Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. Like, I'm just looking at a standpoint like, okay, who has a little bit of juice to kind of get rolling here? And I think that's Rashard Smith. And, this is somebody that we both said, hey, he's very, very raw. He's a former receiver, but he can catch the ball well. And something that I've seen Kansas City do is they made it a point to get him the ball. So I really like to see Andy Reid using these young guys. And again, as we said, rookies, usually Andy Reid starts them out slow, but if they kind of get into a place where they are using him on certain screenplays. And I've seen it, forcing him the ball, and he starts to show something. Andy Reid might trust him a little bit more and get him on the field a little bit more. And I think this guy's very, very capable. Hey, super athletic, super explosive to break one open. And, maybe we can kind of see what Rashard Smith has. I'm just kind of betting that the other guys are just kind of dust.
Yeah. And that's a great way of looking at it. It's his competition is just kind of stale around him. It's a great way to look at it. Like there's just no excitement there at all.
No.
When you hand the ball to Isaiah Pacheco, it's just 3 yards,
He's 3 yards and he gets up pissed off.
Yeah, exactly. There's no excitement. So anytime I see Rashard Smith, it's, just a little bit of zing and zang, I don't know. It's just a different style of running. And I feel like Kansas City needs that.
Yeah, I do too.
They need some excitement. They need some momentum sometimes. It's just, I don't want to say it's stale, but that's exactly what it comes off as.
If you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, like, what do they have with no Rashee Rice? And they have nobody, dude. Like, they have nobody. Xavier Worthy kind of got people, like, a little bit into it. But, like, now when Rashee Rice comes back, I think more people get into it. Patrick Mahomes, I don't know if it is after this week. He was leading all the Chiefs in rush yards. I mean, that's wild to me. So that's telling me that I think a change is coming soon as well.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like, they might trade for Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara don't look good either.
No.
So I mean, do you really want to trade for Alvin Kamara, take on that kind of a contract, and get probably the same as Pacheco, maybe a little bit more just because of the path? Like, I don't think they're going to do that.
No. I definitely like the only thing that scares me is if they bring somebody in, but like I said, we've been saying this forever.
Yeah, they don't really do it. And I don't really know who would be Breece Hall, maybe, if the Jets keep losing, but
maybe Zach Charbonnet. But I mean, the Seahawks are winning, so I don't see them trading anybody.
No. I think it'd do that.
Yeah, I don't. I'm right there with it.
I think for a third round pick, we don't usually get Chiefs running backs for a third round pick. Usually you have to pay the premium on them guys. And this is a guy had a really hot name throughout the process. A lot of people were, really in on Rashard Smith. We liked him. I don't think we were as high as a community, but I think the prices came to a third, and I'm willing to pay it and see what he's got.
Yeah, I like it.
Who do you got, Moss?
So I'm going to go a true blue contender buy. You got to be a true blue contender to go out and buy this guy, but it's Keenan Allen. I mean, this guy, what is he on the year? Wide receiver 9.
Yeah, he's
7 targets last week, 11 targets the week before. I mean, your cell was Quentin Johnson. This is his main competition right now. It's Keenan Allen. And that's crazy to say, but I mean, he is 33 years old. We keep saying this. Is this Keenan Allen's swan song? It could be.
Yeah.
But man, even if he falls off a little bit, gives you wide receiver 24 numbers, like for a third, I'm taking that as a contender. As long as he can stay healthy all year. I mean, you're asking a little bit there, but man, if he keeps even semi putting up like 80% of these numbers, you're completely happy with a third. I will pay that all day long to go win a ship.
Yeah, I and I have him in leagues, and I've been trying to get a third. I don't know why. Some people are like, he's just old. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
Top 12. What'd you say? Top 9?
9. Yeah, he's a wide receiver 9 on the year.
He's wide receiver 9. And you want to talk about consistency. Besides last week, all right, he was wide receiver 43 against the Giants here, but wide receiver 10 week 1, wide receiver 18 week 2, wide receiver 12 week 3. So 2 wide receiver 1 weeks. Well, there were no bye weeks. I don't want to say weeks many more times because it's just like every other word, but I mean, that shows you consistency too, because that's something you got to think with some of these guys where they get you, like Jalen Waddle's famous for this.
Yep.
He gets you 4, gets you 6, gets you 43, gets you 2, gets you 4.
Addison.
Yeah. Addison's the same. And
Yep.
then you take the averages at the end of the year. Oh, he had this many points per game. But like if you actually break it down and look by week, Keenan Allen, besides last week, has been very, very, very reliable and consistent.
Yes, he has.
So just kind of an off week for the Chargers, anyways, just losing that game.
Yeah, I don't think they were ready. I think they probably just kind of wrote him off.
Yep. So for me, let's go to my second round guy, and this might shock a lot of people. It's Kyle Pitts, Muscles.
Oh,
I know, but here's the thing. So this is the last year of his deal. He didn't pick up the 5th-year option. He's still only 24 years old. He had a good game this week, 5 for 70, a touchdown. He's tight end 8 right now. So he's got a very nice schedule for the rest of the year. Fantasy Pros has him as the easiest strength of schedule for the rest of the season. This is great news to maybe build this guy's confidence back up. I think, as we talked about Marvin Harrison Jr. on the last show, you could just tell when he caught that touchdown what it meant to him. Like he kind of looked up to the sky and just like you could tell he kind of had a moment there. I think Kyle Pitts needs this. Kyle Pitts needs some easier competition here to get that back, get a little bit of a boost in confidence. So, and somebody that rookie season did put up 1,000 yards. We didn't hate Kyle Pitts. We loved the film. We just, when he came out, we said the juice just isn't worth the squeeze, right? Like we're taking too big of a gamble too early. And that's what scared us off and how we avoided some Kyle Pitts. But man, at 24 years old, he gets, possibly a new start next year. I'm backing on Kyle Pitts, Muscles. And he has a name too. So if he comes out here and destroys every week, I guarantee you it's going to go up to a first and maybe a first plus.
Yeah. Yep.
He has the name.
He does. Yeah, he's a guy that I've always been a fan of. I have a ton of Kyle Pitts shares. I tried to get rid of some I have, some I haven't, but yeah, I'm rooting for him. I mean, just the prospect that we watched coming out, and like you said it, like he couldn't really separate, and then he came out 1,000 yards. We're all like, oh, here it is, Kyle or Travis Kelce at 21 years old or however old he was at the time, and
super young.
And it just wasn't the same. But yeah, I'm hoping for him. I'm hoping you're right.
Yeah,
for a second, I'm in.
And here's my thoughts about this too. How do I say this in the right way? There's nothing wrong with Jake Ferguson, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with Jake Ferguson. But Kyle Pitts could be the difference maker. To me, Jake Ferguson is tight end one or whatever. He's a great player. He feeds off the system. Kyle Pitts is somebody that can take your level. We know the highs are very, very high, and we found out the lows are very, very low. But like, I do think he has the athleticism to be the difference maker at tight end. Of, maybe he's not Travis Kelce good to where he was way above, but I do think he could be top 3, top 5-ish, and that's a big difference. 5 is bigger difference than like 7 to 12, right? Like where it's only a point or two. Like a lot of times 5 is more than that per game.
Yeah, absolutely. I like it. I like it. For a second, I'm in.
Hell yeah! Send out some offers for Kyle Pitts. Muscles, who do you have for your second?
This might come as a week too late. You might have to add a little bit on top. He did kind of have a little bit of a coming out party there last week, but I think he's going to have a juicy coming out party this week when he plays the Cowboys, because we know that Cowboys defense is just god awful. But it's Mason Taylor. I know a lot of people drafted him in the second, so it's probably going to be hard to get him for a second. You might have to add a little bit on top. And it like I said, it is hard because he did put up a little bit against the Dolphins on a prime time game. But I really like the report from what I've seen, out of Justin Fields. Looks like it, that might be a security blanket a little bit. And I don't know. I mean, we liked Mason Taylor as a prospect.
Yep.
I think he's finally starting to come into that role.
I think so too, man. He looked really, really good. He looked comfortable. There is no other receiver but Garrett Wilson out there, man.
Yeah.
Like they could have me or you on the field and it wouldn't make a damn difference. Like nobody's stepping up. And Mason Taylor has kind of been that guy that stepped up in the middle of the field has beaten linebackers and given Justin Fields kind of, some kind of a hope when he's not checking down to Breece Hall or whoever. And, when they bracket Garrett Wilson. So I really, really like this. And, some people, like you said, some people I think were disappointed. Second and a third, I think that's possible. But I seen on Dynasty Dad, like I said, with Kyle Pitts as a second. So I still think Mason Taylor's a good possibility. There's people that's like, hey, I just went out. Like, I didn't see anything great. It was the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
You might be able to make that excuse.
And I did see that juicy matchup against the Cowboys. I mean, we have seen the Cowboys defense get picked on. So,
yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, we got to see that against the Giants and then the Packers game, and you're going to see it for the rest of the year. So, yeah, it's very, very good matchup. I definitely think the price, if you can get them for a second, you need to do it like right now because it's probably going to go up after this Dallas game.
Yep, I agree.
So we'll go to my first here, and it is more contender driven, but even if you're a middle of the road team, I still don't mind this. It's going to be Courtland Sutton. And the reason why I say if you're a middle of the road guy, I don't really mind it. You got to remember, he did just get that extension. So he's locked here in Denver for 3 more years. He's wide receiver 12 on the year, 29 years old, still playing at a very, very high level. For Courtland Sutton, doesn't it feel like he's an automatic, like 20 points, 20-point player every week, like 18 to 20, just every week. And, I know they draft Pat Bryant. Troy Franklin's kind of flashed. Muscles, you're a Marvin Mims guy. But I feel like them guys are fighting for that wide receiver too. Like Courtland Sutton's the established. He's a go-to guy. And them guys are kind of eating the scraps, right? They're eating the fat off the steak.
I agree.
And Evan Ingram's been very, very disappointing this year. Evan Ingram, like, we were kind of high on him. Then I started to back off a little. I'm just like, I don't know. He's just one of them players I just don't really know. Is he going to work out? Is he not? And he's been very, very disappointing. So I do have a little bit of Evan Ingram, not a ton, But how do you feel about Courtland Sutton for a first?
Yeah, I definitely like it. Age 29, that's the only downside.
I was gonna say, I know you're not into buying like these little bit older receivers.
I am. I just wish they would draft somebody. Like, I would have loved to go out and get Tyler Warren.
Yeah.
Obviously, we got Evan Ingram, but like, if they bring in somebody like that, I think it will eat from Courtland Sutton. Obviously, if they do bring in a first-round receiver or a first-round tight end,
right?
And RJ Harvey's finally starting to get his role.
Yeah.
Does that eat into Sutton? There is some risk, but if you're a true blue contender, I'm all about it because this could be,
I feel like nobody ever wants him. I feel like if you flash a first. I remember throwing him in certain deals. People are like, I don't want Courtland Sutton. I'm like, why?
Yeah, he's like that name that like nobody wants. Like,
no, and he always just kind of produces. And I think this extension, you have to move him to that first round. Like you have to give up a first for him, at least off my roster. And I'm buying for a first, so I'm not really necessarily selling for a first. But I think Courtland Sutton's a guy here.
I do too. He's definitely like you said. Who else is there?
No, they kind of draft Marvin Mims is all right, but like we weren't the highest on Troy Franklin. Like I said, I know he's flashed. We weren't the highest on Pat Bryant. I know he hasn't done nothing yet, but like they kind of draft these receivers where you don't really necessarily like either.
No, I don't quite get that, but
I don't either. But who do you got for your first, Moss?
It's actually a guy you said about earlier when we were talking about Kyle Pitts, but I think it's going to be Jake Ferguson. We've seen this for years. Dak Prescott just loves his tight end. And, we were kind of out on Jake Ferguson. I think before the season started or in the offseason sometime we did buys and sells. I think he was a sell because I was like, oh, this is the last year of his deal, da-da-da-da-da. Well, then he signs a 4-year extension.
Yeah, I forgot about that, actually.
Yeah, so he signs this 4-year extension, and I personally haven't been keeping up with it. I remember we talked about this on the last show. somebody put in a chat in one of my leagues, like looking for a tight end, and I was on 4, and I'm like sitting there, I'm like, oh, who do I got? Jake Ferguson. I'm like, oh, let me see what he is. Tight end 1. Like, if people aren't paying attention, and like I said, I like to think that I pay a little bit of attention. I didn't know he's tight end 1, so people might not know that he's tight end 1. And CD Lamb, I mean, he's hurt right now. He's going to come back, but right now George Pickens doesn't seem like, although he did have a good end of the game.
Oh
there.
yeah,
He
they
did.
could not cover George. It was so weird, and I don't want to cut you off. It was so weird.
No,
The Chicago game, the whole offense looked off. And then this Green Bay game, I was a little bit worried. I'm like, oh damn,
Yeah, I was too.
Look good.
But I think like Ray G said it best. I think Jake Ferguson's always going to have room at the table.
Yeah.
Like George Pickens and CD Lamb are going to eat from one side of the table, and then Jake Ferguson's always going to have his. Like, I don't think CD Lamb and George Pickens are going to really eat, from him basically. So right. I think it's a great buy. He has been fairly consistent. He did have that stinker against the Eagles, but that Eagles game was
kind of rough. That was the first game of the year.
That was the first game of the year, but 16, 21, 17. So that's definitely what you want from a tight end. So
I'm like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, because I just don't know the upside, and I do worry when CD Lamb comes back. Like you said, does he still get his own? And I just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, and I definitely don't disagree. I think he does have, like, I mean, would you give him like top 5? Like, do you think he finishes top 5 at the end of the year?
It's a possibility for the simple fact that Brock Bowers was banged up.
And Brock Bowers really hasn't looked good.
No, he hasn't, but he's hurt. You can tell he's hurt.
He is. Yeah.
So I think that's the main thing with him. And George Kittle, we were very high on for the year. Obviously, he's not going to be. I mean, maybe points per game, but obviously not in the year. Maybe.
Yeah. Like I mean, he is tied the Dak for 3 more years.
He is, and they obviously believed in him because they gave him the 4-year deal. And George Pickens is only here for this year unless they extend him as well.
Yep.
So it could be the CD Lamb, and Jake Ferguson show.
And he's only 26. He's not very old.
Right. I've always hated on Jake Ferguson. I don't know why. But
on you. No,
it really is, because he does put on production. When you look for buys and sells, like the one thing you want to find value, you don't always want to sell at peak value too, because sometimes some points are worth more to your roster, So even if I think this is Jake Ferguson's peak, right? He's still getting you quite a bit of points per game, and it's helping you win. So you necessarily want to sell for a first at that whenever you're winning too.
Yeah.
So there's two sides of the coin here as well. So
there definitely is,
and that's kind of why trades like that are good, right? So somebody he's a tight end that's winning. Jake Ferguson's a perfect piece.
And like you said, I mean, he's not like your flashy tight end. Like, he's not Kyle Pitts. He's not Brock Bowers. He's just he's just safe. He's just one of those just check down, just 10 yards here.
I'm curious to what he finished last year as well before we get out of here. So he's been 47, 8, 30, and 2. He did miss time last year.
Yeah.
So
what's his game log? Yeah, I was gonna say, what's his game log look like last year?
So I don't know what his points per game was last year.
I don't either. He did have a decent year last year. He started out really hot, and then he got hurt, and then it looks like the last part of the season kind of tailed off.
He didn't have 1 touchdown last year.
Wow. No, he did not.
So that's kind of wild as well. Dallas is kind of off last year, but
yeah,
man, I don't mind that. Like I said, you got to look at both sides of the coin on that. And he is somebody that, I'm sure he's still going to hold quite a bit of value even when CD Lamb does come back, especially at a tight end spot where we're really, really trying to find some points here.
Yeah, we are, because like you said, Evan Ingram's disappointed. George Kittle's been out, Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this tight end position this year has kind of been,
Yep.
other than Trey McBride's, stayed healthy and
Sam
good, but
Laporta's kind of struggled a little bit too, I believe.
I believe you're right.
I mean,
Yeah.
at least where you drafted him. So,
Yeah.
but we won't ramble on about it. I like I said, I'm 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I think if you're a true blue contender and you need him, I don't
Yeah.
mind it. I think it's a pretty safe guy, especially we wanted to see him in Dallas. If he wouldn't have got that 4-year deal, I'd say absolutely not. But
Oh, yeah,
he got the
100%.
4-year deal, so he's going to be in Dallas, tied to Dak. So
Yep.
So that's going to do it for a power up buys and sells, post week 4 here as we're heading in week 5. We have Thursday night football on right now. If you guys enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, go over to Spotify or any major podcasting platform, hit that 5-star. We would really, really appreciate it. And we're going to keep bringing these to you guys, and, hopefully you win and can take advantage of some of these guys. So that's going to do it for this episode. We'll see you next time on the Fantasy Football Power Hour.
See ya.
Yo, welcome to the Power Hour.